Hey, Jeff Howard here, and I'm back. I've got the Ahi. I've been going through it from the Ahi from Dreamflight. And just prior to this, I talked about the leading edges and installing the carbon on the leading edges. But I've gone through the whole build process, and I want to tell everybody this thing is so easy to build. It's really crazy. Michael put a fantastic model together, and I wanted to share some tips of things that I have done that kind of help you. When you get into setting it up, get the servos. These are fantastic servos. They're high speed, they're metal geared, they center really well. I really like them, and they do a great job. So what I want to talk about is you want to set these servos up. I had a servo tester. I didn't do it off of my radio. It's very simple. Once you bind your receiver, then you set up the servos and get them all centered. You can use your radio to do that, or as I said, I use a servo tester, and I take a servo tester and put them all to center and check them all and get them all set up where in their locations, and you can see how they're set up in here, as well as the two servos that go into the wings. These are completely opposite of each other, so you can get them all set up, put your screws in. Now the only thing that I had to do, and the manual says to do it, is drilling out those arms to fit the wire sizes, as well as the clevises on the inside. You do not have to do them on the horns of anything. They fit perfectly on those. But inside in the fuselage here, you do have to drill these out a little bit. And he said he had there's a drill bit. I didn't have the exact size. I used a very sharp X-Acto, and I took a little bit out at a time and then checked it. That's how I did it, but you can get the correct drill bit, and it's very easy. I like almost no play at all. I want everything to be exact. I like things to be tight, so I adjust them out exactly where I want. So I got the servos in here. Everything was set up exactly. This is standard equipment. It is so easy to set up. Once you center everything, I didn't even plug my radio in until everything was already put in, because I did have that little cheap servo tester you can pick up from all over the place. So anyway, I installed the servos. I installed all the clevises, did the clamps down on the push rods that tells you which one goes where. One's rudder, one's elevator. And everything got put together very easy. Now I taped mine on the back, because I am going to pull it apart and do graphics. I like to get everything trimmed, and then I'll pull things kind of apart, lay out my wings, and I take permanent markers and do some drawing. Permanent markers will fade over time, just wanted to let you know, but it's really fun just to draw all over it and put things together how I want to. Other than that, the little changes, anything that I made is he had a little small extension for the battery power, which goes in here and goes over the top. I wanted mine underneath, so I got a little short extension, this one here, and I ran it up through where the servo wires all go, so it's all put back in here. I don't have anything hanging out over the top right here. The only thing I do is I plug my battery in right here to power it up or charge it or whatever, and it made it very simple. My receiver's right here, got my wires all up inside of here, extended in different directions, hopefully to not lose signal, but that's how I put mine together. Now, I do have to say, this is the absolute first model in the past, I don't even know, 20 plus years I've been building models, probably more than that, I put everything in exactly, and it balanced right on the marks that Michael said, which was 6 millimeters in front of the carbon spar, and it balanced perfectly. I didn't have to do any adjustments. I didn't have to add any weight, but again, it's very simple. There's a weight compartment just below the battery in here. There's a ballast box in here to ballast things, but that's for ballast and for heavier winds. To balance it out, you would put more in the front or less in the front. But fantastic. I cannot say enough about how well Michael does such a great job on manufacturing and designing his gliders or his planes, whatever they're going to be. Anything he's going to come up with is going to be perfect, and it's going to go together just right, spot on. Now, the only changes, again, that I did on mine, and I explained a little bit ago, is I put carbon on the leading edge here. It's very simple. I showed the process. You do a little slice and you glue them down, as well as I went back here on my horizontal, and I put another one, very small one, right in here. And I like it because you hit the ground, you hit little bushes, even grass, and it starts to ding up the foam a little bit, and it just makes it last longer. No big deal. It's just one of those anal things that I like to do on my models. I have more than a few of Michael's, and foam just kind of can dent out even from your hand and catching it if you're doing those kind of things. The other one thing that I added, this is only just to prolong things and flying, is back here on the tail I put a little skid. I used foam safe CA and a little tiny bit of fiberglass over this little carbon rod here, and it sticks up and it just keeps the tail from hitting the ground repeatedly again and again when you come down and land, obviously, or hit the ground a little bit. So I just put that in there. Do you have to have it? Absolutely not. But all of these, everything fit in here perfectly. I am on the outsides. If I move them in, I'm going to get more control, but right now I'm just doing different setups on it. Everything was so simple. Servos just fit in like a glove, nice and tight in here, and then I put the tape over the servo cover, and then I added tape over the top of the connections. But all the little parts and pieces, I can't say enough. His little packets, his servos, his batteries, everything is well worth getting a hold of. It sets this model up absolutely perfect. You do not have to adjust anything out to get the servos to fit. These things are nice servos and they fit in there perfectly. All in all, I cannot say enough about the Ahi. I am so excited. This is one of those models. It's the perfect size to throw in the truck, go glide. It's an all-around workhorse. I've flown on the seawall, bluffs, very small bluffs. It's got great little lift. It's so much fun. There's so much potential into it I haven't even learned yet. But getting out there and spending more time with it and making adjustments is a lot of fun. So next is my graphics, and I will be doing all kinds of little things to differentiate the top and the bottom, get the coloring on the top. I probably won't do anything on the bottom, maybe a sticker here and there, but all of my coloring will be on the top, just so when it's upside down or right side up, I will know as I'm flipping it around. Anyway, I can't say enough. Thanks, Michael, for making such a fantastic little glider. You don't have to worry about it. I wouldn't classify this model as the beginner model. I would go with a Liebel to learn, and then jump into something like this one to learn the aerobatics and everything else. But it is a model that every RC glider person should have. One of those, just throw off when you want and have a great day. Anyway, thanks again. That is the Ahi from Dreamflight. Get yours and have some fun. Later.